Flight FAO.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable waiting until after
I don't either.
6:20.
That's why I want the answers now.
Yeah, 6:20 is my drop dead time from adding up all the times.
Okay, I'm going to have them press on. All right, Capcom, tell the crew we want them to press on into EVA, and we'll stop them whenever we have to. Just quickly, we got 4 minutes on this pass. Discovery used.
Discovery, go ahead.
Okay, with the panels that you've got out there right now, it's not satisfactory to stay overnight. So we're going to have to move out on the EVA.
I was scared. I had never suited anybody who was going to go out in space. And I knew that if I missed something, if I missed a glove, you know, if I didn't get it fastened right, or something on the helmet, they were going to die. And it was going to be my fault. So even though this guy's come out of combat and all other kinds of stuff, I was scared because I had never done this before. And so I knew my crew members were dependent on me. And we were getting ready to let them open the outer hatch when the ground said, "Hey, stop." And we said, "Okay." They said, "We got an idea."
We think there may be some problem with the tension monitoring software. We've got the DCE back on. We're going to disable the tension monitoring and resend the proc to deploy the minus SDM.
Okay, hit it.
And the irony, this is the day of ironies. Early in the morning when the solar array first stopped, Bruce came up with this crazy, Bruce McCandless said, I don't think there's anything mechanically wrong. I think it's the tension monitoring module. And we all looked at Bruce and went, "The what?" Everybody but Kathy. Kathy had heard of the tension monitoring module. And so Bruce said, it's this software module that we put in to protect the solar array. And in case we got a mechanical jam or something, we didn't want to rip it and destroy the telescope. So we have this software module that would stop it until we could diagnose the problem and then correct it and then let it go out. This young man down here at Goddard, and I say young man because as I understand it, he was a very young flight controller, on console said, "Hey, I don't think we've got a mechanical problem. I really think it's the tension monitoring module. And if you give me permission, I can no-op the tension monitoring module. I can turn it off. You know, I'll make the 1 a 0, and I think everything will be okay." So between Houston and Goddard, and I think Bristol, England, and everywhere else in the world that had anything to do with Hubble, they mashed on this thing for hours, and they said, "Okay, try to deploy it again," and hit the deploy switch, and solar array went out.
It's fully deployed. The micro switches confirm it.
Okay.
And for Bruce and Kathy, we'd like you to stop the airlock depress at 5, please. Rendezvous? We're go. Fido, go. Eagle? Go. Ecom? Go. Inco? We're go. FAO?
Go.
Max? Go. PRS? Go flight. EVA? We're go. Sergeant, you're still go? Go. Capcom, we have a go for release. Discovery, go for Hubble release.
Okay, we have a go for release, and we're going to be a minute late.
Okay, Charlie.
And all Steve had to do was pull a trigger that opened the grapples that held the grapple fixture, and it was breathtaking, and it was beautiful as it got farther and farther away, but it never went out of sight because it was so bright and shiny.
So the irony of all of this is that after 5 years working together on the Hubble telescope, longer than any other person on the crew had worked on the Hubble telescope, the view that Bruce and I had at the time that Hubble was deployed was the blank white wall of the inside of the airlock. Never saw it.
Kathy has never forgiven me. She blames me for leaving her in the airlock. So, I mean, you know, a couple hours later I go down there. They've got a lot of vacuum time, but no space time, no spacewalk time. And so I repressurize the airlock, get them out, put them back on the wall, get them unsuited and everything, and they're just, but we had a lot of images for them. engineering things that have never been done sometimes have issues. Designing the preeminent viewpoint of the heavens, the Hubble Space Telescope, was not without, sort of new inventions that were never done before.
The first images from Hubble were frankly a little disappointing. They were not as sharp and crisp as we had hoped. It turns out that the mirrors had a slightly misshapen form.
This special mirror, 2.4 meters of specially ground glass designed to capture the light of the universe back in time, billions of years, had an aberration, the way my eyes have an aberration, and I wear glasses. And so there was an initial, oh my goodness, what can we do? This icon of exploration that took 50 years to think about to fly has a problem.
And I'm positive that if we all had written down the 100 most likely problems with the Hubble Space Telescope, if everybody involved with Hubble had written down those top 100, not one of them would have listed the mirrors the wrong shape.
We feel that we can characterize the problem, the spherical aberration problem, well enough that we can take advantage of an insurance policy that we haven't talked much about, and it hasn't been in the press much, and that is we started a long time ago to plan a maintenance program. That is, every 3 years we plan to go up with the space shuttle, change out instruments, change out things that broke, the gyros or something might break. We have gyros in stock. In fact, we have in stock, in storage, most of the critical components on space telescopes.
We promised that we had a way to fix it, and we put a new camera in with corrective optics in it that would cure the optical problem.
Right as we talk now, we are building a second wide field camera. And it's not too late to put a corrective optic. You can almost think of it if you've got bad myopia, which you can say our telescope has now, and you put your glasses on, you can correct totally and get 20/20 vision. That's what we would do in the wide field camera, the second wide field camera. We would change one little mirror, relay mirror in there, take out the aberration that the primary mirror causes. That is, if it's a positive aberration, we put in a negative aberration and basically cancel it out. We feel the analysis is only preliminary, but we're pretty optimistic that we can take out all the aberration with the second wide field camera and get us back to the original specification.
Nobody believed us, but we promised that we'd do it, and would do it by December '93.
Let me conclude by saying HST was and is a difficult challenge for a tremendous payoff.
Hubble became, it was in the press all the time with the problems. It was a billion-dollar mistake. People in the press called it a technological disaster, a national disgrace. Late-night comedy hosts were making jokes about Hubble.
Well, have you been reading about the problems of the Hubble telescope? The Hubble Space Telescope?
The Hubble telescope?
The Hubble telescope. The Hubble telescope.
Well, see, since there's no longer a Soviet threat, a lot of people feel we don't need the Star Wars defense system anymore. Hey, I think we should keep it, if only to shoot down that Hubble spacecraft and put this thing out of its misery. Huh? Yeah. Oh, that's what I say.
The teams at NASA, combinations, Goddard Space Center, Space Flight Center, great astronauts, the will of the people, great members of Congress who supported it, said, let's fix it. We fixed other things, and they still work. Old cars still run. Let's make Hubble the better version.
We were all disappointed, but all hopeful that something might be done to save this spectacular space observatory. And in fact, something was done. We had already planned to be doing servicing missions on Hubble over the years, and so the first servicing mission to send astronauts back to Hubble was designed to repair this problem with Hubble.
And this big mirror really was the dominant driver. We worked very, very hard to develop, first of all, how distorted was it? How mispolished was it? And then to find a company in the United States, preferably, that could polish corrective lenses that would take care of the problem. Those two challenges were really immense, and those challenges, when they finally got solved, led to something that was an extremely important payoff to the U.S. and world citizenry.
To fly what you test and test what you fly would be easier if the telescope were back on Earth. But landing and relaunching could contaminate the telescope or damage it through vibration. NASA couldn't test the new corrective optics in the actual telescope. So to make sure the optics will work, the team had to determine the condition of Hubble in space and replicate that on the ground. One independent review panel used Hubble images to determine the precise shape of the flawed primary mirror and the prescription to fix it. Another team had to verify that the corrective optics will work. Teams had to test two optical packages, the replacement wide-field planetary camera and the corrective optics for the other instruments, called COSTAR. Engineers built several independent analyzers to test that they had replicated what the Hubble telescope does to light. For mechanical testing, engineers built a simulator at Goddard Space Flight Center using the same precision equipment that built Hubble originally. To replicate Hubble during electrical tests of the corrective optics package in the new camera, an electrical test facility was built with original telescope. Hardware has been thoroughly tested on the ground. The Hubble servicing team is preparing for contingency, but this mission is a first, so no one can predict everything that could happen. The real test will be in space.
5, कीनोट स्पीकर बुलाया था उन्होंने कंसिस्ट थी जो मेरी सैटरडे को जो कंक्लूजन थी मेरी कीनोट स्पीच थी मैं जा नहीं रहा था क्योंकि वो बड़ी लंबी फ्लाइट थी दुबई से पहुंचने के लिए मेरे पास टाइम नहीं था तो मैं आखिर में उन्होंने कहा हम जहाज भेज देते हैं तुम्हारे लिए मुझे बुलाने के लिए तो उन्होंने वो मैं मान गया तो मैंने सही तरह खैर हमने सब क्योंकि
सर करोड़पति बाबू हैं हमारे बैंक में 1 करोड़ रुपए जमा करने आए हैं जकास आइए देख नहीं सकते जकास
हाँ fantastic strange
we're pick on day 2 now sudden change of that's it change of plan
no I think if the arrays are straight we also have an equal chance that there is no such thing as polarization. The universe is aberrated and we're going to be correcting for it.
Actually also
okay then you're seeing what would be the upper outboard bistem on the plus V2 array. There is a definite kink right at the upper edge of the second panel there, as you can see in the max part of the bend. And it looks like, as the bistems, of course, one is inside the other, it looks like the outer bistem has a kink in it, and it is also twisted approximately 90 plus degrees clockwise there at the kink. And then it looks like it all comes back together within a few feet there of the kink. There's also, probably hard for you all to see, we have to look at with binoculars, a second kink a couple of feet below the obvious one that is on the back side there of that section of the bistem. It's not quite as bad, but it does have a little crease in it.
Foot restraint will be occupied by Mission Specialist Kathy Thornton. She will be working from the end of the mechanical arm.